gratitude friends. It's Stacy Danford, the Gratitude Guru, here this Thankful Thursday to talk to you about goals and your direction. And people ask me all the time, what is my number one thing I do to use gratitude? And I don't know that there's actually a number one thing I do. I do several things every single day. I have my morning routine of 10-10-10. I talked about that a few weeks ago. I've talked about it many times, but my first 10 minutes of every morning, I do my gratitudes and my gratefuls, and I say, things I'm grateful for. And I can't remember who said it. I wish I would remember, but there's a phrase, everybody knows it, that if you woke up tomorrow with only what you said you're thankful for today, what would you have? Most of us wouldn't have very much. And I have learned over this process of the neuroscience of gratitude to be grateful for the little things. And out of all the things I've ever done in my life, more than a master's degree, more than a house, more than a car, changing the way I feel about the little things and being grateful, truly grateful for them, has changed my life more than any one thing ever has. I used to never notice the little things, and I was waiting, for the big accomplishments and the big promotion and the big house and the big car and, the big wow moments in life. And of course, people are grateful for that. But learning to be grateful for the little things, for the fact that my fuzzy dog loves to snuggle with me every morning, for the fact that I have eyes that wake up and see the sunshine out my window, that I have ears that can hear the alarm, that the hot water runs on my hands in the sink, that I have indoor plumbing at my house. The little things that you take for granted, that we have plenty of food to eat in our refrigerator, and I've never been hungry, not one day in my life. There are people all over the world who cannot say that. And that is truly probably the most crucial step in learning to develop a practice of gratitude, is creating a daily morning routine. What you do in the morning sets your brain up for what you will do the rest of the day. And it opens your brain waves, it opens your patterns to connect for gratitude. It helps you look for gratitude in ways that you might not have looked for it previously. I start every day with my first 10 minutes of gratitude. I also do a gratitude journal every day. People ask me about that all the time. Gratitude journals, there's a big misconception about gratitude journals, and a lot of people, well-meaning people who want to encourage people to develop a practice of gratitude, they actually tell you some misinformation according to neuroscience about what gratitude journals do. And the point of a gratitude journal is to encourage you to be grateful and to think of things to be grateful for. But what it has done for a lot of people, according to the new research, is create animosity for gratitude, because you feel like you have to make a list of 10 things, and you're trying to think of 10 new things every day, and you're making a list, and it becomes something you dread, which is exactly the opposite of what it was intended to be. So what neuroscience knows about gratitude that well-meaning people tell you incorrectly is that one moment of gratitude, one thing that you write in your journal, is better for your brain and better for your attitude, better for the chemicals in your brain than making a list of 50 things every single day that you dread. So what I do every night, I do my 10 minutes of gratefuls just in my head every morning. Then every night before I go to bed, I have a journal, and I write one thing that I was grateful for that happened that day. It has to be that day, because those are the memories that are fresh in your mind, and it helps backtrack all the way through your cognate networks in your memory center near your hippocampus, and it helps pull up all these memories. So it's good for your memory, it's good for your brain, and it's awesome for your emotional core. But I write one thing I'm grateful for, and then I write why. and you can recall it in as much detail as you want. I usually write like half a page about that particular thing. And while I'm writing it, you'll be able to tell if it's working on the neuroscience level. You'll start smiling, you'll feel the emotions come up. When you feel grateful, that's scientific gratitude. When you just say thanks, that's not the gratitude I'm talking about. That's not the kind of gratitude that changes your life, and it's not the kind of gratitude that changes your brain. You have to feel it in order for it to create the chemicals that your brain needs. So, for example, I know last week my little son, Brady, he started getting into coin collecting. And so he's been, researching and looking up all these different coins and all these different things. And last week we went to a coin shop in Fort Worth. And I was in my head, I was like, oh, Brady, I don't want to do that. That's going to be weird. And I don't know anything about coins. And he was dying to go. And we always have date night every Wednesday, Brady and I. And so that was what he wanted to do for his date night. So we went to the coin shop and we get in there, and it's an older gentleman who has a big Duck Dynasty beard. And Brady was telling him all about he'd started this new coin collection. And the man could not have been any more precious. He was absolutely darling. He stopped what he was doing and gave Brady all of his attention. We were the only people in the shop, and Brady was just talking about coins. And in 1908 they stopped making this kind, in 1909 they started making this kind. And I was thinking, how did you know all that? And the man was so impressed with Brady that he gave him some free coins, and he was just precious. But he was talking to Brady about people his age, 11 years old. The coin collecting is kind of a thing of the past, and that young children don't know anything about coins because the plastic card has become our mechanism of money transfer now, or even PayPal and things. We don't even use real money, very seldom. And he was so impressed that someone from a younger generation was excited about coin collecting. And I was so enamored with watching Brady and this man's interaction. And I was so grateful that I got to witness that I got to see my son light up, that I got to see an older man light up at the hope of a new generation, carrying on something that you could tell clearly he loves so much. And I didn't do anything, but I got to stand back and witness this awesome occurrence of a relationship between two people over something that they both are excited about. I was so grateful to be there. I was grateful to see it. I was grateful for the fact that there are people who love coin collecting. And I was so proud of my son for his precious, sweet manners, and how kind he was to the man, and how kind the man was to Brady. And I just wrote about that in my gratitude journal that night. It is such a great thing for your brain to do before you go to sleep. There's tons of research about a practice of gratitude before you go to bed, what it does to your brain waves, how it makes you sleep better, how it aids in the digestion process in the night. Those are the last thoughts you have as you go to sleep. It creates all kinds of great stuff going on in your brain. If all it takes is like 10 minutes at the most, some days, it only takes 1. And even on a really terrible, terrible day, you can find one thing that you're grateful for. And it has truly transformed my ability to see my day in a good light, because it's the last thing I do before I go to bed. So even if I've had a terrible day and I look back on it, thinking, golly, there was nothing that went right today. And I think, you know what? This morning when I went walking, I saw this beautiful red bird that was sitting on the little puddle in the road. I loved that. It was precious. I'm so grateful I live in the country where we have red birds. I'm so grateful that I get to walk on my street without any fear of danger and violence. I'm so grateful that I have eyes that could see that red bird, and that God has given us colors, red. And I thought, you know what? my day wasn't so crummy after all. There was a lot of little things that I forgot to be grateful for. And the practice of writing it down before you go to bed literally changes the way you sleep, it changes the way your brain works, and it changes the way you wake up in the morning. So if you will just do those two things, that's the question I get most often is, what do I do to do a daily practice of gratitude? I do my 10 minutes every morning. I don't write it down. I just do it mentally in my head. And then I do 10 minutes or 5 minutes at night and I write it down. I pick one thing, not 50, not 10, not make a list. It's more beneficial to recall the whole memory, and it's so beneficial for your brain. And especially with all the issues people have now with memory and dementia and Alzheimer's, use your brain, recall the memories, go back all the way through your cognate network in your head, recall the whole memory in your mind and write it down, and you will feel the emotions of gratitude come on your face, and you'll understand the difference between scientific gratitude and merely saying thank you. Be happy, spread happiness to the world, and be grateful in only ways that you can be. Absorb your own gratitude. Live your life in a state of constant awareness for all the things that you have to be grateful for. Spread happiness, bliss, and blessings on this Thankful Thursday. God bless you. I'll see you next week.